So, Ali, first of all, thank you for being in Dubai.
Thank you for having
It's a
me.
pleasure.
It's a
And
pleasure.
I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
So, the last few months, we've seen you on social media visiting some of the hobbyists around the world and some really big tanks. I'll start with the first one. So, tell us about your experience visiting Polar Reef.
Polo Reef, yeah, Andrew. It's really a very big and beautiful tank, sure. And Andrew is a very passionate man, and he really loves reefing. I love this stuff. I noticed it, and a man like him, he doing it. He's doing it only for the passion
Yeah.
of it.
He's living his dream.
Yeah, he's living his dream. The biggest private reef aquarium
In the world.
and one of the most beautiful ones as well. It was really amazing. Behind the tank, they had these labs and they tested everything. They have their own staff. Their staff are amazing, also expert people taking care of these reefs and so on. So we really enjoyed being there, and of course, thanks to Andrew to having us there. It was really very nice experience.
What about Mara's? Everyone's
Mara-
saying that.
Mara-
Your support to Mara's Reef is insane.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, Mara is
Exceptional.
yeah.
exceptional.
It's exceptional.
It's a reef. It's like an art piece.
Masterpiece.
Yes.
Yeah, there's an element that is I didn't see in other tank. I see in her tank. It's the
Well,
She
The art.
doesn't look. She has a
she's an
particular
artist.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
She's an artist.
she has a particular way of doing it. She doesn't allow corals to grow very big so that you don't see only three colors.
yes
She keeps the corals it's small, different colors, so you can see the contrast.
the contrast.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Another great tank also is from Youssef Tushi Reef. Tushi Reef is a friend
I'm
of
following
ours.
him. Yeah.
Yeah. He works at Polo Reef. He's a great guy, experienced guy, and
Amazing tank.
yeah, he has an amazing,
He has a
amazing tank.
real amazing tank.
We did a
And
nice video about his tank also there. So
Yeah.
he invited us home. It was really like family.
Yeah.
It's not like reefers or something.
This
It
is
was
what
really-
unites us. Like it unites us everybody here. The different
Yeah.
races, the different colors, the different. I mean, look at this. Reefing is kind of like a one religion for everybody in here.
Yeah.
When you visit those tanks, I'm sure it helps you also with your research and data collection to work on modern reef more and more.
Not exactly. We have our space for that. It's designed for doing this stuff, our stuff, and our labs, biolab, and so
Yeah.
on. But of course, we learn and we hear from expert people like Andrew, like Tushi, and other guys. Of course, we take in considerations their input and stuff, as always. As always. Yes.
Ayman, you're distributing, I believe, Modern Reef in the UAE.
Since a year.
It's been a
exactly
year.
1 year.
How is your journey yourself, the products, the customers?
Honestly, I had my doubts when I asked Akil, how do I switch to Modern Reef? I was using a calcium reactor and topping up trace element. I was using like 10 methods on my aquarium. And I thought at that time that the more the merrier. It wasn't actually. Had a lot of issues. And just like a lot of reefers in town, I had my downsides. So the switch was the most difficult decision that I made, but the easiest actually. And I didn't listen to him. I actually wanted to, what everybody was telling me, how can I switch? I said, all right, cut your dosing by 50% and introduce Modern Reef and camp next to your tank and, get the alkalinity and calcium right. And then, things will flow in 3 days. But I did that quick switch and I took a risk. At that time, it was a risk in my tank. And honestly, it worked. I didn't have a single acro loss and my tank is full of acros. And
How's the feedback of the customers so far?
we had no issues at all. We had certain questions, a lot of questions on how to use it because it is a different method. It's a kind of like a new method that we've never got used to before. It's a hybrid method and you can lose a lot of things. And we reached to, the wisdom in this is to simplify the dosing, is not to dose a lot of things in the tank. The tank needs stability, it needs patience. I've seen good results on Modern Reef in 2 to 3 weeks, but I would say 2 months is when it really kicks in.
That was my next question. So
Yeah.
when a customer buys a Modern Reef product
Yeah.
and he expects changes, so we say 3 months and above until we start
No,
feeling some
it actually depends on what he's using right now.
previously. Okay.
So, for example, if he's using a system where well, not all, some of them may cause stagnation, may cause something different in the chemistry. Once you switch, you will see it faster, right? If it's a calcium reactor, then it's more time sometimes, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So it depends also if it's only organic and you switch to the reef keeping system. This is the most drastic one.
Yeah.
You will start seeing corals reacting positively
Yeah.
after a week or 10 days. It depends basically on what you're using and how is the system, the basics of the system, flow, light, and stuff. This is also important. The system alone will not work if you don't have the basics right.
Absolutely. The flow, the lighting,
Fundamentals.
yeah,
Fundamentals.
the flows, and
Fundamentals have to be there.
the biology.
And I have to say, one of the big things about Modern Reef is the simplicity behind it.
I was about to ask you that question, so you
Yeah,
jumped.
because think about it.
Jumping
What
topics.
Mara does is amazing, and all she has is a protein skimmer and a roller filter. That's it.
Nah, the roller filter doesn't work.
Yes, she doesn't. It stopped doing
She's
it.
doing the
It
old
stopped-
school
By
one.
hand,
Yes,
by
she
hand.
does it, man. She comes down, she looks, she moves it, and then she goes on. But the simplicity behind it,
Yeah.
because she removed her media reactor, she removed everything else she had. So basically, what she's doing is dosing the Modern Reef, protein skimmer,
Yeah.
and the roller filter. That's it.
We noticed
If you simplify everything,
we noticed a reduction in sales in carbon and phosphate remover media because of Modern Reef. Thanks to you.
and also what you're going to struggle with is
Yeah.
people not doing their water changes. So you're not selling salt anymore.
Yeah, well, we still, I mean, I personally still do weekly water changes, 5 to 10%.
But
You
don't
don't,
have
you don't
to.
need weekly, but
Yes.
people tend to think that water changes are only for, fixing these traces and stuff. It's not only about that. It's phenols, humic substances produced by corals and other stuff that needs to be removed. We performed a test where we made water changes with exactly the same parameters, just it's new water. There is nothing else, even phosphate, nitrate, all the levels were exactly at the same time, and we wanted to see what happens. Corals reacted positively only because it's fresh water, fresh new salt water mixed.
Yes.
Nothing changed, same parameters, but we believe it's because you took phenols, humic substances, and other things from the water, and you bring in fresh water. Only this caused a positive effect.
So in your recommendation, if you are going to do a water change with Modern Reef, what would you suggest?
the regimen would be in 3 weeks, 10%.
So like a month, or like every month?
Every month,
Yeah.
10% only. You don't need.
10%.
Also, if you overdo it, it's not good. People do it weekly sometimes. That's not good. You do
What
it.
if they do 2%, no?
No, you can do 5%, 10%
I'm
weekly if
doing
you like.
5 to 10 weekly. And
Each
I'm
2
having
weeks,
good
10%
results
is
after.
okay.
Yeah.
Many of our customers do it 10% each 2 weeks. You can do it 10% each month.
And it also depends on your lab analysis. If your lab analysis is detecting traces of tin and copper and other, unwanted substances,
The system will
then,
tell you.
Then you gotta do the water changes.
The system will tell you
Yeah.
how even will tell you how the salinity should be.
Yes.
If the salinity is deviated, you take advantage of these water changes to even fix the salinity.
And
Yeah,
I've
but
noticed.
if you have metals in your tank,
Yeah.
and you're noticing that with your ICP, your metals are coming up, you have to really diagnose it. I had a guy that I videoed, Dan Thomas from England, and it turned out that it was his return pump putting tin in his water.
Right. Could be the 10
And it
pump.
was a return pump, and it was a popular return pump.
That's where the trend in the mini charts come in. So, for example, if you see 10 at 10,
Yeah.
and you see that previously you had it in 15, our charts will tell you when you hover, you will see the dates.
If you're doing constant ICP, you get the graph.
Exactly,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
graph. So if you see that's going down, you don't have to worry.
But
You know?
if you see that
But
it
if you see-
stabilizes or it
Or-
starts to come up,
That's a problem.
That's a problem. Then you need to try
But
to identify from
the
where
source.
it's coming.
Yeah, I've
And
seen.
people also tend to when to make tests. This is also important.
Yeah.
Oh, I make tests when I have a problem. No, you need to make tests actually when you have your tanks good.
True.
You know,
To see the trend.
to see where it is,
Exactly.
right, and
I
learn
agree
from
with
it in
that,
the future.
100%.
It's not
Correct.
only when you have problems. Try to keep up, see the trend, where they were before, because sometimes you don't know how it was, and you think it's aluminium high or tin highs that's causing the problem.
Correct.
But if you have the trend from the history, no, I had this tin at 10 before, but it was good, right?
And we were able for a customer to identify, because we were doing constantly the lab analysis, we saw suddenly the tin and the copper shooting up, and then they started going down, and we started doing an investigation. What happened to cause that change? It was the rocks. He added pieces of rocks, and those rocks are coming up with dead organics in them, some substances,
some metals
coming
also
from
inside the
metals,
rocks.
some metals, some everything. And so what we recommend is to run those rocks before adding to the tank in some acid or vinegar or many other substances.
The idea about this is to lower the pH of the
Lower
water.
the pH, yeah.
Of course, but you do it outside of the tank.
Of course, yeah.
So
And its own separate bath.
exactly.
Then you cycle?
You lower the pH so
Yeah.
that the rocks can expel. You do water change, you repeat it next week. Then you leave it with water alone, to expel everything, if you want to do it this way. But I think if you work with something like, let's mention a brand, Carib Sea Dry Rocks,
Yeah.
Natural rocks,
Marco rocks.
not painted, bigger. I
Yeah.
don't like.
Marco rock is different because Marco rock is a natural rock.
Yeah.
These other ones are man-made.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like man-made stuff because they tend to mix to
Substances in
create
general.
the stuff, and
Yeah.
you never know
And
what's
coming
also,
coming.
you don't know what the paint is made of.
I would definitely do this procedure for this type of rocks.
Yes.
But for the natural rocks that it's natural, I don't think you need this.
Marco rock
Correct.
is all natural.
Correct. So, what test one can do is bring those rocks and put them in water for a week and then do a lab analysis and see what they're leaching.
Yeah, if you, for example, can dip them in osmosis,
Yeah.
you take a sample before and sample after,
Yes.
and then you see what changed.
That'll be a good exercise. Let's do that.
But
So, Tony, you've been involved in the industry for many years. Legend, I could say, right? So,
no, he is a legend.
he is coming.
Once you
Who
write,
doesn't know Tony?
once you write 2 books, you're a legend. And now it's the 3 or 4th,
Yes.
right?
No.
Five,
I'm
six,
working
seven.
on 3.
Working on 3.
And there's Reef Chronicles.
And that's the Reef Chronicles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you visited Akil in the homeland, Germany.
Yes.
Uh,
It was.
Well, tell us about the experience.
Okay, so he picks me up at the airport.
It started.
Yeah, no, he picks me up at the airport. I'll make it short. He picks me up at the airport. He tells me he doesn't know German, and then we go to KFC, and he's talking to the girl in German.
Well, he's Colombian.
He's Colombian, he's South American, he's
He has
Arabic.
Arabic origin. Yeah.
He's Mr. International, for sure. And so we finally get to the front of his store, Euro Corals, and I'm videotaping it. And we get into the place, and it's like, are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
I mean, it was just tanks loaded with the most beautiful, colorful corals. I mean, and they were all in great. That aquapora, he had an aquapora
Don't tell me
that
about it.
literally had 7 colors, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, no way.
It's photoshopped.
I was like, but he says to me, you can't record it. You can't record
You're
it.
using
Of course, you didn't listen to it.
Yeah, you saw it.
Yeah. It was,
Modern Reef. We don't use
Powered
anything
by
else.
Modern
no, it was this aquapora was 7 colors. But needless to say, he would cut a coral, and he's explaining to me how he cuts a coral, and a week later it's like you couldn't tell it was cut. There was a new growth on it, new
It
polyps.
starts to encrust.
Yeah.
Right away. And I was, at that point in time, I became a believer. He didn't even have to explain to me what he was doing. He just, I walked into the shop and I became a believer. And what he's done and how he's done it is amazing, and the history is really in the videos, right? There's a 3-part video, and I still haven't uploaded the 3rd part.
Yeah.
Because I'm making everybody wait. But he explained the history. He explained how he got into it. But the most amazing part is you can hear all the gibberish all you want. At the end of the day, it was what was in front of me was the proof. And the corals were amazing. And till today, I have not walked into a place that I've seen that many corals with that many colors and that health.
All
Amazing
aquaculture.
shot.
Yeah.
We have 8 of those. I mean, more than 8, but we have 8 of those for a raffle today.
And that's the other thing. It was all mariculture corals.
Aquaculture.
So nothing. Well,
Aquaculture.
Aquaculture.
Yeah.
It was all aquaculture coral. And why? Because he firmly believes in doing it all in-house. And
Yeah.
I agree with you. You're doing an amazing job, and continue doing it.
Thanks.
Because we're still waiting for that special potion, right? The
will
one
come.
that you did in Mara's tank.
Yeah, you were there. You
Yeah.
saw it.
Elixir.
Okay. It's like you can't stop me, right?
No, go ahead.
But what's amazing is, so he walks in with this little bottle. He goes, "I'm going to be putting this in Mara's tank." And I go, "What is that?" It's a little tiny bottle with this orange.
Yeah, oranges, yellows.
Yeah, orangish yellow substance. So then he puts it in his tank, and I go, "Yeah, he's probably programmed the corals to get used to it, right?" That's my mentality. Oh, well, he's going to show me in his tank, but his corals are already reacting to it. Then we go to Mara's house, where that tank is just mind-blowing. And we get there, and he puts 2 drops,
Yes, sir.
and the corals within seconds.
Yeah.
They had polyp extension, but the polyp extension was dramatic with this little, and the coral elixir? Is that what it is?
Reef Elixir.
Reef Elixir, okay. So he changed the name.
Yeah, we had to. Name was taken.
Okay. So he puts that in, and Mara's tank never had it before.
Yeah.
This was the first time he tested it in Mara's tank.
I'm jealous now.
And the corals were night and day difference.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
when I walked in, there was polyp extension. But when he put this elixir in,
Yeah.
it was grand polyp extension. And I was like,
It's
oh
not
my
like
God.
this is not like a reaction like when you see a string coming up,
Yeah.
like most things that you may see. This was polyp extension.
And thick, and thick.
Yeah.
Are you going to share up what's your recipe in that? Is it teriyaki sauce? Is it what?
I will speak about this now, maybe. We can speak about now.
I mean, yeah, let's talk about what else
I mean,
is coming
we're there,
up.
right?
What
Yeah.
else is coming
We're
up,
there.
Akil? Share with us your secret.
Look, the elixir is used only when you have consumption.
High consumption.
It's strong. This stuff is really strong. So when you have consumption, when you know that your tank will consume that, like in Mara's Reef, why it works fast? Because these corals are constantly consuming, giving them what they need, make them this reaction.
So what are we talking about? Like black RKS 50, 70, 100?
Black RKS?
If you're dosing like 50?
No.
Oh.
Well, I
The
think
point
she's doing
is
250, right?
she's doing now
250.
280 ml a day.
Okay. 'cause
Now, and
when
I think
spoke
she
to her last, it was
no
250.
now they are consuming more because everything is growing, and she
And
didn't
she's
have
connected to her frag tank.
no she didn't have time to cut. You know, she cuts to allow them
Yeah,
to stay
every
small.
day.
No, but now she can't because some personal stuff that she had.
Okay.
But
I know she was doing it on a daily basis. You look at this woman and her
Yeah.
forearms are all scratched up because the corals are just like,
We're
scratch your.
and she's allergic to it.
Oh my
And the
God.
doctor told her, right?
Yeah.
Don't mess with the corals. And she's in there every day.
She
messing
can't help
with
it.
the corals.
Yeah. Now she
Misery
has
of a life of a
at
reefer.
280 more or less.
Yeah.
So the idea is for the elixir is that you need to have consumption.
Define consumption. Is it 50? Is it 100?
No,
Is
it's not a number.
Yeah.
It's like a thriving reef. So, for example, if your tank
It's a
is
continuation.
yeah, like let's say your tank it has stagnation for any reason, can be light, flow, temperature, whatever. You stop using it. Once you, for example, if you're dosing, it doesn't matter the number. What matters is if it's consuming it.
Constant,
Right?
Correct,
same
correct.
dosing.
If it's 50 and going to 55, this is a consumption. If it's 50 going to 45, going
Then
to 40,
there is a stagnation.
Then there is a stagnation. Then you need to stop
to
it.
stop.
Okay.
And that's
You
why
don't-
it's dosed manually.
it will not cause the stagnation.
Yeah.
The idea is you need to have an eye. Okay, my reef is consuming, then I need it. Then I help the corals with it.
Yes.
If it's not consuming, then I don't do it.
Is it coming in the next order?
My question is when I was listening to this, I'm sure I'm sure Naib's asking now too. So when do you think we can actually get this product in the market?
We solved the label issue.
Okay.
I think in the next 2 weeks we should have production.
No, there you go.
I know where you live.
I think.
Remember, that's production. That
Yeah.
doesn't
Production.
mean deliver it.
Yeah, exactly.
When do you expect delivery?
I don't care.
Well, after 2 weeks we start taking orders.
That's money.
Okay.
Yeah, we will start taking orders. Of course, we will announce it in our.
We're gonna
social-
airship this, guys, so don't worry, it'll be here.
We will
before
have
anybody gets
also 2 more products that we didn't mention,
What are these products?
but they are used together, like A and B. These ones are because we have seen it with many aquariums. They have this problem. Doesn't matter the system that you have. Doesn't matter if it's good or not. It will not thrive a reef if you have pest.
Correct.
So we do have the sea deep now, but we are now taking it further and try to create like in-tank treatments. So I know that, I
Against
want
what
to
pest?
take my corals out and dip them and so on. Yes, with Acroporus now you need to do it. Maybe later you don't have to. We are now trying to figure out something. It's a 2-part product, like A and B. I will not mention the names, but it will be a surprise for later.
Okay.
This is meant to solve in-tank pests and
Can you define
infections.
what kind of pests are we talking about?
We are talking about
Don't tell me acro flatworms.
crustaceous stamp,
Okay.
Acropora, flatworm.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, we will all type of worms, all type of crustaceous. We are trying to see how to do that, and will be also guard like immune system for the reef.
You know, you introduced the dino treatment, the biological bio treatment, the mixed solutions.
The mixed solution.
And this is
this is
the
all
only
biological.
product that ever worked for us, for our maintenance clients. We are receiving no complaints, and it
Yeah.
works like magic next day.
Because it creates competitors against it, so it reduces the propagation of them.
Yeah, so that's coming up, and then the
But
acros.
again,
yeah.
if you want better results, flow is very essential here. If you don't have good flow, or if you have, let's say you have dinos,
Yes.
right? You need to boost flow as much as you can, because flow is halfway of the fix.
Yeah.
Then you use the bio fix, the bio mix, and you will have greater results.
The challenges are mainly in the LPS softy system, which requires much less flow. That's a challenge. And but what we've noticed,
But
No, no,
typically, this
but-
is on a brand new system
Yeah.
anyway.
But you have a trick. A trick is don't aim your flow to the corals. First of all, this is not a good idea.
of course,
Try to aim always to the mid-surface of the tank, 2 pumps in front of each other. Then you can make them strong.
with pulsing effects.
And pulsing, I don't recommend it.
Because then
Anti-sync.
one is doing it.
Anti-sync pulsing.
Anti-sync, like one going up, then the other do the opposite. This will distribute better the flow, but the greater the flow is,
The
the
better.
better is against cyano and
Higher flow
dinos.
rate.
Yes, yes. And what we do is sometimes with our maintenance clients, it'll hold a wave maker and go throughout the tank on the
You
rocks
can
and
also
blow
do that.
everything that's on a weekly basis.
Then you dose the bio mix.
Absolutely.
So for example, you take a power head, you start blowing it around and so on, let this detritus go in the air, dose the bio mix, let it mix for 1, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, let it settle,
Yeah.
then turn everything back, and the skimmer will take everything
I
out.
wanted to ask Ayman, from a modern reef perspective for the last year, what
Yep.
was one of the most sought products that you feel the customers are coming back for and you feel is very successful?
Well, biodiversity has been our best-selling products because everybody, no matter what method he was using, he's buying biodiversity. Because initially we had some kind of a plan of number of biodiversities being sold linked to the RKS and the one for reef and all of those.
Okay.
Now we are doubling and tripling the orders for the biodiversity because everybody is using it. I see it also in places where other methods are being dosed, a biodiversity bottle everywhere, and it works very well.
Akil, I wanted to ask you, what do you think is some of the top challenges you've heard from reefers the last year, and how do you think Modern Reef tackled them?
Challenges like what?
Any challenges that you felt Modern Reef added value, or anything that you,
Ah,
or
well,
like tips that you can
yeah.
give to people? For example,
The-
flow
well-
was one of them.
Sorry?
So the flow you just mentioned, flow is important.
Okay, no, basics are always a must. Basics are, there is no product that will solve light problems, water clarity, or flow. You need to also pay attention to the basics, right? But in theory, what we notice most is that new reefers
Yeah.
have success as professional reefers. That's the aim of Modern Reef. You know, the aim is to make it easy and achievable for all, right? You just need to test KH and calcium, and everything is dosed by proportion with the hybrid system. This was a big boom in our community, right? And people liked it because I don't need to do much, right?
You don't need amino acids, you, don't need the nitrates.
You don't need to be profi.
Yes,
actually.
absolutely.
New guy, we know several tanks that they, for example, 10 tanks were nominated in Italy for the best tanks there, most beautiful ones. 8 of them,
For Modern Reef.
we are talking nominated, so they already passed through several things,
Stages,
right?
yeah.
Stages. Nominated 10 semifinals, I think it was.
Quarterfinals were
Yeah.
were actually
Were
5. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
8 of them were Modern Reef, and
Wow.
many of them were new users.
The last 2 made it actually were Modern Reef.
Well,
No,
actually,
the last two
one.
were not Modern Reef, both of them,
One of
but
them.
one Modern Reef
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
end.
the top 5 for
Were Modern
were
Reef.
Modern Reef.
Wow.
Of the top 5.
That's
and the
something
top
interesting.
3 were Modern Reef.
And for a brand that did not exist 3 years ago, right?
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
the
when did you launch
Italians
Modern
love
Reef?
it, man.
Modern Reef was launched, what, 3-4 years back?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, the Italians love it.
But it's not something new. The formula, we have been using it in Euro Corals to create.
Yeah.
We perfected it. We made it proportional consumption system. We tried to figure out how to make it in 4 bottles. It was a really hard task.
I think we need to have an episode about how the evolvement of Modern Reef, and that's probably will come later, probably through Reef.
Maybe with Rabia. He will steal your episode.
You will prepare the questions for that.
I've got a lot of questions
It
in
will be
here.
my honor.
Okay.
Last but not least, thank you guys all. I hope anyone who has any questions,
For
please
large
feel
systems.
free.
Large systems.
And okay, and if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask. So, does anyone have any questions? Yeah? No?
Questions, guys?
Well, Ayman is here for the next hour, I guess.
Yeah.
So if
If
anyone
you
feels
have
like
any
asking
questions,
anything,
Guys,
I'm here.
ask him
please,
difficult questions.
please
Make
feel
him
free.
suffer. Make him
One
sweat.
question, what do you think of having a reefing team while using Modern Reef?
That's a very good question, by the
Yeah,
way. We're
actually-
talking about it today, by the way.
Now we were
What's the
talking about
question? Can
it.
you repeat on the mic, please?
No.
What was
Yes.
this question?
The question was, how do you use Modern Reef when you're running a Refugium? That's a very
Exactly.
good question, and I'm doing the
Actually,
same.
we
by the way.
forgot to mention the new product that's coming up because of this.
Yeah, okay.
There's a third
This
product.
is an amazing question.
Yeah.
This guy gets a frag. Don't need for raffle.
Yeah,
ahead.
well, when it comes to refugiums and algae, well, we thought about, okay, let's do a product that may work also, a reef keeping system actually, like the 7.7 or the blue one,
Yeah.
for, refugiums. The problem is that the refugium not always prosper. People, I have a refugium, they bring in a method for algae refugium, but the algae doesn't grow. Maybe because of the light or whatever, gets stagnant or doesn't grow. What happens? What we added there for the refugium or algae refugium will start causing problems. So best is this trick. You have this trick. keep an eophilia, goniopora.
Gonipora.
That's why actually I'm asking the
Yeah, yeah,
question.
yeah, yeah,
Because, all my
Happened with
it's
him.
happened with you as well.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
Even in
asking.
our tank.
Yeah. Keep this is a trick. Keep an goniopora. When you see that is retracted, then it's time to get out half of the algae. You know? So it's time to take it out and also fix with an ICP the deviation, and that's it. You're good. But if you prefer to keep the algae and you know that your algae is thriving, there is a product coming up that you can dose by proportion of consumption of the reef keeping system to allow you to have more algae if you prefer it that way.
Because for me, I have it in my tank. All the corals are doing amazing. But I started Modern Reef around 1.5 months ago. All the tanks doing amazing. But my gonivoras,
Yeah.
I
That,
had to move them to another.
then you need to take, as he did, you need to take half of the
This
algae
is what I
out
did today.
and do a one liquid solution, follow it, and that's it.
And in the future, you could dose in a proportion consumption system to substitute what the RKS is not giving you in terms of the increased consumption
Of the of algae.
from the gonipora, because the gonipora, they tend to consume more manganese and iron and many other substances, by
It's
the
not
way.
about consuming more. She can feel it. It can indicate better. It's not hard to actually see it or check it. The goniopora will tell you when, okay, look, you have too much algae, you know, because I'm not liking it. Unlike other corals, she will be a good indicator of that. Yes. But it does consume, of course,
Yes.
manganese as all corals. But the indicator with the goniopora is more noticeable.
Yes. So the acropora won't react to reduction in manganese like the gonipora, so you would know that it's time
Even
to...
alpias,
Yep.
some of them will, you know, we like to see them like this fleshy puppy stuff, you know.
Just like this tank.
If you don't have, if you have too much algae, they will start to not be as much as you want. So, but goniopora is more noticeable.
Yeah, this is what happened in my
Yeah.
tank. Only gonies. All corals are
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
amazing except gonies. They are not.
Akil, I want to ask you, for people
You're welcome.
who are dosing Modern Reef, to what extent or to what size tanks can we still use Modern Reef? Is there a limit where it stops, how big the tank is?
Well, there is no limit. The limit is the cost.
Okay.
It's only the cost. The limit is the cost.
Yes and no, because you do sell the concentrated
Yeah, but
variety of
But
it
you
as
have
well.
till 5,000 liter. You have till we have till I know some customers till 5,000, 6,000 liters using Modern Reef. Okay. You know, but over this it can be expensive unless you know.
The guy doesn't care.
Yeah. But I think if someone has 8,000 liter aqua, 9,000, he
I don't
knows
think they
that
care.
it's expensive. You know?
Right.
So yeah, this is a point. But we have also something coming up for
That brings me to the question, because you mentioned that to me.
yeah.
I was wondering
Say
if
your
you're going to
question.
say it on the camera now.
Say the question.
Basically, there are clients running 10,000 liters and above tanks on calcium reactor, calc, and many other substances. So what do these guys do? They need the trace elements and everything that is in the hybrid method, but minus the alkalinity and the calcium that these reactors are giving them. So what's being done, as per understood from Akil, is that a lab analysis is taken at 0.0 today with the calcium reactor running, and then stop all dosing of trace elements, keep the calcium reactor running, and then in 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, take another sample, ship them to Modern Reef. They'll be able to determine the consumption of all the traces
Like
throughout
a
these 3
maintenance
weeks and
dosage.
prepare a solution that is called, if your name is X, they call it Modern Reef X, and it gives them everything that the tank needs from the Modern Reef recipe, except what the calcium reactor is giving.
providing.
Exactly.
But that's a lot of custom making, and I'm not sure
No,
the
there's
economics of
something
it.
coming up very soon. We called, it has gone
Yeah.
long enough. I think it will be also coming soon. Let's say you have high iodine in a system, right?
Okay.
This can happen when you give algae nori or something. It can increase your iodine. We will be able to do a custom reef keeping system without iodine to help you reduce the iodine just by using the reef keeping system.
So it is also a custom solution
This is
without
a
iodine.
second custom solution
Okay.
where we create a specific set for you, or this set, without iodine, in this example, so that it helps you go down with a bit of water change, and this you will do it
So it's
faster.
a correction, and then you move back to the
Yeah, because
traditional method.
naturally the tank will start consuming iodine,
Yes.
and at the same time doing water change,
Yes.
and then you can go back where you should be, because we have seen tanks with 250, 300, because they feed a lot of algae nori. Algae nori has a very big quantity of iodine.
Yeah.
And tanks can go really up very fast.
Yes.
So this can happen to any other element.
Yes.
The passive ones, the ones that you want to keep. So you take advantage of the system, just take this element out and let it go down by itself. by
Naturally.
consuming. Yes.
Right. So now what we've realized is that if we keep him talking,
We
there'll
will
be
not
more
end.
products. Right?
More
It started
secrets
with 2
unleashed.
products, then 3, then 4.
Now this is a service, not a product actually.
Well,
because
it's
it's the same, but
a
we can
service
create
is a
It's a
product.
It's a
Product.
personalizing,
Service
personalization.
personalized.
Custom product.
Lastly, I want to mention to everyone. I'm sure everyone knows, but just to highlight, that's a very positive part about Modern Reef is everyone's accessible through you guys on WhatsApp.
Yes.
You're always very quick on communicating, replying back.
Yes,
to
I
each
think
other.
many of you here have contacted us.
How about this? We're driving on the Autobahn, and he's on the phone taking care of customers.
Oh,
Yeah.
He is. And I'm like, dude, when did
Safely.
you disconnect?
Safely.
Using the hands-free.
Yes, safely, hands-free, safely.
Safely, we're doing, what was it, 100 and what?
No, it was 220, 230.
220. Well, at
Yes,
one
because
point I-
autobahns in Germany, he was impressed with that. You know, autobahn in Germany, you can drive faster.
No cameras.
Well, it wasn't just also the safety,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when there's an accident up ahead, both lanes move over to the side to let the center.
Yeah, yeah.
Germans.
let
Nobody
them-
drives like the Germans.
Yeah, I said to Akil, yeah, let them try this in the U.S. This won't go very far.
Tony, Redfin is building large aquariums.
Yes.
And have you considered using Modern Reef for large aquariums or not yet?
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. We've talked about it because I know that he has concentrated levels of the mix. So, you know, us having large systems, you know, a lot of our systems are fish-based,
Yeah.
but we are doing large reef systems as well. And currently I'm putting a system together. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm doing a 400 corner system, and we're going to be using the Modern Reef technology on it, so that way we can show our customers, look, this is what we're doing. It's a big system, and luckily he does make concentrated levels
Yeah,
of,
it's 7.7.
yeah, which is, I mean, those are large buckets.
They are.
And so it's economical because he's selling it also in concentrated form, which helps out the guys who have big systems.
And plus, maybe in the future, you'll have the chance for the large systems, the mega large systems, to be, you know, using the personalized custom.
Well, yeah, because at the end of the day, if the system is, let's say, a 28,000 gallon reef aquarium, well, that 28,000 gallon reef aquarium is still going to need a calcium reactor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
This will be very expensive.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
but at the same time, it can take advantage of what he has to
The
provide.
personalized
Actually,
method.
Yeah.
actually, we have some people buying sets in, like, you know, this big pallet tanks,
Yes.
like 300
Yeah,
liters, 400 liters.
those big
We
polypropylene tanks.
have people using them in their tank system directly, very big tanks, you know, 7,000.
Right, so I see a future with it. I
Yeah.
don't see, and think about it, at the end of the day, anyone or any entity that has tanks that are 10,000 gallons or more, they're not going to quibble over, oh, that's going to cost me too much money.
Yeah.
No, they're going to make sure that that tank does work. And a lot of it is in public settings anyway.
No, there is something that happened with Tushi Reef, actually.
Tushi Reef, yeah.
He had calcium reactor. Also, his tank is relatively medium size, you know. But he is old school guy. The tank is old. It's too much years working with it. He had to deal up the CO2 very, very high to the point that it's not only he can't count the bubbles anymore.
Yeah.
and this led to low pH and stuff. In the long run, the bigger, for a calcium reactor, I'm not saying they are bad, but for a calcium reactor, the bigger your tank gets, the more you need to build up the CO2.
The lower the pH.
The pH will be a difficulty in that.
Well, yes, okay, there are ways around it. Number one of the
Calcreate.
things that you're gonna have with the calcium reactor is the effluent is gonna have a lot of phosphates and it's gonna have low high CO2 levels in it, right? Because it's, in order for you to break down the calcium, you have to bring the pH up to 6.5, 6.3.
The acidity, yeah.
Right? So in order for you to do that, you have to put a lot of CO2. But there is a way around that, and it's to put a bubbler where the effluent is coming from. So that way you can expel the gases of the CO2 before you introduce it into your main
Degas.
system. Right, so you degas it and you remove the phosphates, and the effluent that's going into your system
But-
will have a better pH balance.
Exactly, but this is more complicated than placing 4 dosing pumps.
Well, yeah,
That's it.
Equal parts.
Equal parts.
And then
But
enjoy
when
your
you-
vacation.
yeah, at the end of the day, when you get into this industry,
Yeah.
you know, and you want to be a successful reef aquarist, there are things you have to do.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right. So if you're trying to find a simple way or trying to avoid something,
It's part of the hobby.
Yep,
it is
yep.
part of the house.
And there is more than one way of solving a problem.
And you need to have a good time doing it.
Yeah, and you enjoy it.
You
You need to
enjoy
enjoy
it.
it.
No, and
If
that's
not,
the
you're
thing.
not a reefer.
Yes.
You know, it's interesting. I just went to a yacht show or a boat show,
show.
just this week, right? And after I left the boat show, I went to the hotel and I started looking at the pictures. There wasn't one picture of a boat. Everything was pumps, filter systems, bulkheads.
Yes.
That's all I took pictures of.
Too much.
Because you know, it's the way we take this hobby and we
Yes.
just so you know, I'm gonna do a post later today where I go to a boat show and these are the pictures that I take.
Thank you guys. I'm sure everyone is waiting for their raffles, I guess.
Yeah, well, before the raffles, I would like to surprise everybody. And just like Modern Reef are releasing new products, Thinkfish are also, you know, having some really good news and releasing also new products. So Thinkfish have decided before what products are coming. We're bringing Arca, we're bringing RO filters. So Arca will be in town very soon, in 2 to 3 months. We're also bringing Nias aquariums and the skimmers, and those are actually excellent products. They're very highly rated in the US currently now. So those will come in very soon. But the greatest announcement will be made now is that Thinkfish will be aquaculturing corals. Thinkfish aquaculture will be right next door here. We're gonna be adopting the Euro Corals design powered by Modern Reef. So we're gonna be using Modern Reef for high, big systems, large volume systems, and we'll be growing corals in our labs here. So we're gonna meet in a year, probably here, and talk about the systems. I think we're working on the design now. So once you approve those designs, okay, we're gonna go into the production, have him running here in 6 months time. We're gonna start the cycle. So hopefully we're gonna be bringing our batch of aquacultured corals from different places, including Euro Corals, and we're gonna be growing them here. And maybe we'll have better results than Euro Corals in Dubai.
I will work to have better, for you to have better results.
We look forward to that.
Don't worry.
And then we can sell you frags, just like you sell us frags.
Now, if this is gonna happen the next 6 months,
Yeah.
so when we do this again next year, there's a tour coming, right?
True.
Oh my God, that puts us on a lot of pressure. Guys, don't put timelines.
You need to run now to make them.
Oh my God, oh my God.
Thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rabz.
Thank you.
Thank you.